You don't really notice it at first. The silence creeps in slow, like a chill in the room you didn't feel until it started to hurt your bones. You're in the same house, same room, maybe even sitting beside the same person, but something has gone missing. Words, eye contact, warmth. It's like they've turned invisible, or maybe you have. They're not yelling, they're not slamming doors, there's no fight, just nothing. And that nothing starts to feel worse than anything else could, because when someone yells, at least you still matter enough to be yelled at. But when they go quiet on you, it's like they've erased you without needing to say a single word. You replay everything in your mind, every moment, every word, looking for the one thing that might have triggered this sudden drop in temperature, and you don't find it. So you start blaming yourself. Maybe I asked too many questions. Maybe I said something wrong. Maybe I am something wrong. And that's how it begins. You don't just feel hurt. You start to believe you deserve it. The silent treatment isn't just someone needing space. It's a way to control you, a way to punish you without looking cruel. It's the emotional version of turning their back on you while you're still trying to offer your heart. And it's confusing, because society has always taught us that silence is better than violence, that keeping quiet means keeping peace. But this kind of silence, it isn't peaceful. It's a message, and the message is, you don't matter enough for me to even talk to you. Soren Kierkegaard once described despair as a kind of death that happens while you're still alive. Not physical death, but the death of your sense of self. That's exactly what this silence can do. It makes you doubt your place in the relationship. It makes you feel like a ghost in your own life. And the scariest part? The person giving the silent treatment might not even see what they're doing. They think they're just avoiding drama, that they're choosing peace. But it's not peace when one person holds all the power and the other is left begging for even a glance. It's not peace if you have to lose pieces of yourself just to get noticed again. You start walking on eggshells, you try to be extra nice, you apologize for things you don't even understand, you shrink yourself just to avoid triggering more silence. And slowly, without realizing it, you become less of who you are and more of who they want you to be. That's not growth, that's survival. And when you live like that long enough, something breaks. Not all at once, little by little. You stop speaking up. You stop being honest. You stop sharing what hurts. Because every time you do, they shut down. They disappear. And you've learned that losing their attention feels worse than losing yourself. So you become quiet too. But your silence isn't power. It's fear. You're afraid of being left in the dark again, so you dim your own light first. And in that quiet, you start to forget what your voice even sounds like. That's how the silent treatment works. It's not loud, but it's violent. Not in the way we usually think of violence, but in the way it twists the mind. It makes you believe love has to be earned by being perfect, by being quiet, by needing nothing. And if you've ever lived in that kind of silence, you know it's not just about not talking. It's about being made to feel like your presence is a problem, like your feelings are too much, like your needs are annoying. It's emotional starvation, and it leaves marks. Maybe you were a child once, and your parents stopped talking to you when you disappointed them. Or maybe you were in a relationship and every argument ended with them walking away for days. Or maybe you've been that person, so scared of conflict, so scared of saying the wrong thing, that you just shut down. Whichever side you've been on, here's what's real. Silence, when used to punish, isn't maturity. It's manipulation. It's saying, I won't deal with you until you fix yourself to fit my comfort. And that's not how healthy relationships work. Healthy relationships are messy. They involve hard conversations, clumsy words, emotions that spill out sometimes. But they also involve listening, trying, showing up, even when it's hard. When someone gives you the silent treatment, they leave you to carry the weight of the relationship alone. They make you question everything, your worth, your memory, your reality. You start filling in the blanks they leave behind, and almost always you fill them with blame, with shame, with doubt. And that's what they count on. They don't have to accuse you. You'll do it yourself. You'll tell yourself, I should have known better. I should have been quieter. I should have been less emotional. But here's the truth that silence tries to bury. You're allowed to have feelings. You're allowed to speak up. You're allowed to exist fully, even if it makes someone uncomfortable. You don't exist to walk on eggshells. You don't exist to be manageable. You don't exist to keep someone else's peace at the cost of your own. There's a quote by Jean-Paul Sartre that says, hell is other people, and sometimes it does feel like that. Like you're trapped in a room with someone who used to love you but now pretends you don't exist. That's a kind of hell no fire could match. But the real pain doesn't come from their silence. It comes from how long you stay in it, hoping it will end. You wait for a text, a glance, a single word, anything. And when it finally comes, it doesn't feel like comfort. It feels like relief, like being let out of a cage you never should have been in. But relief isn't love. Relief isn't connection. Love shouldn't feel like finally being noticed again. It should feel like always being seen. And when someone keeps using silence as a weapon, you have to ask yourself, what part of you keeps letting them reload? Because the longer you stay in that kind of silence, the more it rewires your brain. You stop believing you deserve communication. You stop expecting empathy. And that becomes your new normal. And you carry that into the next relationship and the next. You become the one who stays quiet, who doesn't ask for much, who takes up less space. But deep down, you're not quiet. You're just tired. You're just hurt. You're just afraid that speaking up will get you locked out again. So let me tell you something simple but true. You deserve to be spoken to. You deserve to be explained to. You deserve to be told, not taught, with silence. And if someone refuses to speak, if they choose silence over honesty again and again, they are showing you exactly how much space they're willing to give you in their world. Don't shrink yourself to fit inside it. You're not too emotional. You're not too much. You're not hard to love. You've just been trying to be loved by someone who uses silence like a sword. And it's okay to walk away from that, even if you still love them, even if you still want things to work. Because the cost of staying is your voice, your truth, your peace. And no relationship is worth that price. And you can heal, you can speak again. Not for them, for you. You can stop begging for the bare minimum and start building something real. It starts by choosing people who don't disappear when it's hard, people who stay, who talk, who work through the mess with you. And it starts by believing that you are worth hearing, worth loving, worth staying for. Not someday, not if you're perfect, now, exactly as you are. And no silence in the world can take that truth away from you.